and at home, enjoying in this way. And also, we were hearing how he was an ideal householder. And he was kind upon the poor people. He would give them gifts, give them blankets, give them clothing, give them food, give them money. And specifically, we heard that suddenly 20 sannyasis appeared in Navadip Dham. 20 sannyasis, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he invited them. Now, just consider just consider the environment of Navadip Dham. Chaturdik hoite lok Navadip ejai, Navadip porle she bidda rashpai. Navadip was known as the place of scholarship, and Dvichamani, the jewel of the Navadip Brahmins. We heard that verse, that verse, such a beautiful verse we heard. This verse. Sarva Navadipe, Sharbalo Koilo Dhoni, Sharva Navadipe, Sharbalo Koilo Dhoni. All you could hear from all of the people, Sarvalo Koilo Dhoni, the only sound you could hear throughout the entirety of Navadip was that Nimai Pandit Oddapok Shiromani. Nimai Pandit is the crash jewel of all the professors in Navadip. Sarva Navadipe, Sarvalo Koilo Dhoni, Nimai Pandit Hoilo Oddapok Shiromani. This is all that could be heard in Navadip. Now, this is very interesting because even though Nimai Pandit Oddapok Shiromani is the crash jewel of all the scholars in Navadip, and generally we don't consider scholarship. We don't consider scholarship a particularly essential quality for advancement in Bhagavad Bhakti. Bhaktamam abhijanati yavanyashashmitatvada tatomam tatvado gyatva abhishte taranantaram. Krishna explains himself in the concluding section of Srimad Bhagavad Gita that Bhaktamam abhijanati, I can be understood by devotional practice, not necessarily scholarship. Now, within the devotional practice, we have Shravanam, hearing, Bhagavat Sravan, and hearing the scripture, hearing the descriptions of the Lord, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is Krishna Katha. Bhagavad Gita is the instruction spoken directly by Krishna, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the descriptions of Krishna's interactions when he appears in different incarnations, predominantly the Krishna avatar. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 90 chapters, 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna Lila. But the other avatars are also described in Ram avatar, Nrsimha avatar, and Lila avatars, and Manvantar avatars are described, and Shakta Abhesh avatars are described, like Narad Muni, Vyas Muni, Prithu Maharaj. So these are all described in Srimad Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, and his various incarnations, predominantly Krishna Lila, is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. And hearing Srimad Bhagavatam awakens Bhagavad Bhakti, awakens prema. So for that reason, we're inclined to, we're always Nitam Bhagavat Seva, regularly, daily, at least daily, always Nitam Bhagavat Seva. We're hearing the Bhagavat Katha, we're hearing that's Bhagavat Sevaya, as Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's instruction, so Krishna's personally speaking, as Bhagavat Sevaya, and Srimad Bhagavatam as descriptions of Krishna, his interaction with his devotees in different incarnations. As Srimad Bhagavatam, there's also Chaitanya Bhagavat, Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas, Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavan Das. The same Mahamuni Vyasadeva that compiled Srimad Bhagavatam, which is full of Krishna Lila. Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas, Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavan Das. And that same Vyas Muni, he appears in the form of Vrindavan Das Thakur. He appeared here in Navadip Dham and Mamgachi, Modumadrip, and he subsequently later he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam as he was traveling. He was a disciple of Lord Nityananda. And he was directly instructed by Lord Nityananda Prabhu to reveal the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Lila, Chaitanya Avatar. And Vrindavan Thakur himself describes Monodiye Shunobai Sri Chaitanya Kotha, Sri Chaitanya Kotha. You listen Monodiye with attention, Shuno, listen, brothers and sisters, Shunobai. Sri Chaitanya Kotha, Bhakti Shange, Jai Lila Koilo, Jota Jota. As he performed his pastimes with his devotees, Bhakti Shange, Jai Lila Koilo, those pastimes he performed one after another. Hear them described Jota Jota as they happened. So we are Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. We're always hearing in his teachings to Sanatana Goswami Prabhupada, Mahaprabhu, he emphasized hearing. He said that there are chota means small, yes. No, but it's not in that verse. It's Monadi Sri Chaitanya. Bhakta Lila, Jai Lila, Koilo, Jota. Not chota, Jota means as it is. Jota, as it happened. Jota. Yeah. Jota, as it happened. Not Jota. Yeah. Mahaprabhu, in his teachings to Srila Sanatana Goswami, is explaining the importance of hearing. He says there's 5 activities that directly are specifically designed to awaken Krishna Prema. There's 5 Shakal Shadan Shrestha Pachanga. Of all the Shadan Bhakti Hoite, Roti Udoy and Rupshika, Mahaprabhu is explaining. Shadan Bhakti Hoite, Roti Udoy. By practicing the sadhana means practice, means that we haven't actually awakened spontaneous love of God. That's called Bhav Bhakti or Prem Bhakti. It hasn't actually been awakened yet. So we practice the activities of loving Krishna. It's called Sadhan Bhakti. Activities. So we chant the name of Krishna. We worship the deity of Krishna. We hear about Krishna. We bow down to Krishna. This is called Sadhan Bhakti. In fact, Mahaprabhu in his teachings to Sanatana Goswami Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Lila, chapter 20 to 24, then which actually is connected to what we're discussing in this section. We're discussing about Tapan Mishra. Tapan Mishra will be ordered to go to Varanasi. We'll be discussing that later when we get to it. So in that Sanatana Shikha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is emphasizing hearing. He says that of all the items of sadhana, Sadhan Bhakti Hoite Roti Udoy, they are sadhana you practice, even though we don't have that love of God awakened. Although it's there in the heart, it's become covered over, it's become polluted, become contaminated because of bahuni me batitani janmani tabacharjuna, because of so many so many innumerable births in this material world. In fact, we go nitya. In fact, even before the time of creation, we were conditioned, and we were from the previous creation. And then we were resting in the body of Lord Vishnu, and again we appeared through the lotus navel manifestation. Again, the living entities appear, take their forms. So we got Nitya. So therefore that dormant love of God, that dormant Krishna Prema, has become covered over. Have to uncover. And Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Prabhupada gives an analogy that just like a child walking. Actually, the walking propensity is there. You see the child kicking the feet. The walking propensity is there. Just a little bit of help, you help. You hold their hands. The natural propensity to walk is there. So the natural propensity to love Krishna and serve Krishna is there. That has become misdirected, has become perverted towards serving the external energy of Krishna. Krishna Buli Shei Jiva Anadi Bahiramuka. Krishna Buli, forgetting our actual relationship with Krishna. Krishna Buli. Shei Jiva, that living entity. Anadi Bahiramuka. Anadi means from You cannot calculate the when it began. Anadi, without beginning. When we forgot Krishna, you cannot even calculate that. It's like anadi. It is just beyond time. Anadi. Krishna Boli Shaichiva Anadi Bahiramuka. We become attracted to the Bahir, the external energy. We become attracted to that. And our inherent love of God has become transferred to attachment to the external energy, which is also God, but is the external energy, just like the form and the shadow. The form and the shadow. So they look a little similar. The form and the shadow, they look a little similar. Chaya eva yashabhumanani vibhati durga, the shadow. So forgetting our actual relationship directly with the Lord, we've become that relationship has become diverted. We've become absorbed in the external, the shadow, external energy. Krishna Boli Shai Jiva Anadira Bahiramuka, Anadira Bahiramuka, external energy. Become attracted to that. And therefore that further puts us in the state of forgetfulness. Bhograshaya Prashaktanam Taya Parita Chetasam. Second chapter Bhagavad Gita. Bhoga Aishwarya Prashaktanam. Too much enjoyment in this world, Bhoga. And Aishwarya, too much facility, too much wealth. Bhoga Aishwarya, money. Spoils a person. Bhoga Aishwarya Prashaktanam, and attachment to that pleasure and opulence. Bhoga Aishwarya. Bhoga Aishwarya Prashaktanam. Taya Parita Chetasam. Ta'aparita Cheta. It bewilders one. It covers one's dormant love of Godhead. Therefore, the practicing shadoka, they live a life of controlled sensual activity, not unrestricted sensual. That will cause you to forget Krishna. So they control the sensual activities. Attahara, Bacha Begam, Manasa Begam, Jiva Begam, Udara Upashta Begam, Etan Began, Yo Vishahita Dira, Shadvam Apiman, Pitivim Shashisha, Bacha Beg, speaking. We don't just chit-chat, bacha beg, chit-chat about all mundane things. And politics, every day, it just goes on and on and on. They're talking about, I'm in Bengal. In Bengal, the people, every day there's news. It's political news, every day. There's MPs been arrested or this or that. We just had election in Bengal. So people talk about it all the time. Read the newspapers, or they don't read newspapers anymore. It's all on social media. Social media. What an example of Gramya. Social media is just people that they're just, what are they? Chit chat, what you had for breakfast, and then you become agitated, you become stimulated, you'll say what you had for breakfast. It goes on and on and on and on. So bacha beg, that should be controlled. It is not directly about Krishna and Krishna consciousness. Other things we shouldn't be speaking, or we should minimize. Not that we just chit chat. When I was a boy, I was at home before I was going to school. Of course, there was no mobile phones in those days, no cellular phones, no internet, nothing. This is in the 1960s. And I would be at home. I had brothers and sisters. They were older. They'd gone to school. I had 5 brothers and sisters. But I'd be at home, and then the phone would ring. My mother, she would sit for an hour on the phone. The phone would ring. Someone would ring her. It's not that she had something to say. The phone would ring her. And then she would be there for an hour. And I asked my father, I say, my mom was just talking on the phone. What's she saying? It's uncontrollable. We just chit-chat. So that has to be directed to Krishna. Have to discuss about Krishna. Sadhu Sangha, you associate with devotees, you should talk about Krishna. That will purify your consciousness. Even amongst the family members, you should talk about Krishna. Discuss about Krishna. How do you do that? You have to hear Shravanam, Kirtanam. You have to hear about Krishna, and then you'll be inclined to talk about Krishna. But first you have to hear about Krishna. Maya Ramugda Jiva Nahi Sata Krishna Gyan. Jivere Kripa Koilo Krishna Bed Puran. Jivere Kripa Koilo Krishna Bed Puran. Out of mercy, Jivere Kripa Koilo, Krishna Bed Puran. He expands in the form of the Vedic literature, Bed and Puran, so that we can hear it. By hearing it, we will remember. It will revive our eternal relationship. Sravan. So Mahaprabhu is explaining to Sanatana Goswami Prabhupada these 5 activities particularly powerful. Sadhu Sangha Nam Kirtan Bhagavat Sravan. Sadhu Sangha, associating with devotees. Nam Kirtan, chanting the holy name. Bhagavat Sravan, hearing about Krishna from the authorized scriptures, Bhagavatam. Chaitanya Bhagavat, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita as Bhagavat Sravan. Maturava Srimurti Rashadaya Sheban, living in the holy dham, worshipping the deity. Shakal Sharan Shrestha E Pachanga, these 5 items. Of all the items of sadhana, Mahaprabhu, he explains there's 64 items. Choi Shati Sharananga, 64 items. They're described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Rupsha, in Sanatana Shika, and they're also described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion. Choi Shati Sharananga, 64 items. So these are the activities we practice. So scholarship is not actually mentioned there amongst those 60. Neither is accepting sannyas. Neither is practicing austerity and developing jnana, tapasya. These are not mentioned. You can study Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, you'll see the 64 items. In any case, Mahaprabhu mentions that of the 64, 5 are particularly powerful. What are they? Sadhu Sangha, associating with devotees. Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, chanting the holy name. Bhagavat Sravan, hearing the Bhagavatam. Bhagavat Sravan, Matudabas, living in the Nam, Srimurti Shraddhaya Shevan, worshipping the deity. Shakal Sharan Shrestha E Pachanga. Of all the items of sadhana, E Pachanga, these 5 items, Krishna Prem Janamaya E Pacha Alpashanga. Krishna Prema Janamaya E Pacha Alpashanga. These 5, even if you do a little of them, E Pacha Alpashanga, a little association, you do one of them, or you do a little of some of them, that's Alpashanga. E Pacha Alpashanga Krishna Prema Janamaya. They will awaken love of Krishna. So therefore we're hearing. So therefore Prabhupada wrote the books. But we're not actually interested in scholarship as such. We're interested in hearing. And that means hearing the authorized scripture, which Prabhupada has kindly provided, and other followers of Prabhupada. There's so many scriptures that devotees are commenting on, devotees are translating, devotees are discussing, and in this way. Katayanta shamam nitam tushanticha ramanticha. The activities of the Vaishnavas, Katayantascha, Amam Nitam, Katayantascha, hearing about me, talking about me, discussing about me, Katayantascha Amam Nitam, always. Tushanticha, Ramanticha, you get satisfaction, Tushanticha, Ramanticha, you get bliss. So here we're hearing about so many chats, so many things in the chat. Is this chat, TMC? Mama tongue. Yes, that's right. In the news always. This is every day. I can't believe how people get a taste out of just hearing about that every day. Bengali politics. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. Hours and hours and hours. People talk about it. People hear about it. Yeah, what to do? Well, what to do? We have to preach Krishna consciousness. We have to have our programs. We have to give the higher alternative. We have to give the higher option. We have to make the centers available. Just we're planning. We're visiting Mangalore, Baladev Purnima. We're opening temple, and so many centers we require in your house, in your home. You can make that a center of Krishna consciousness. You can speak about Krishna at home. You can invite others to speak about Krishna at home. Invite your neighbors. Invite your friends, and in this way, we can get our minds away from this useless, mundane, everyday talk that just completely occupies our consciousness. So hearing is very important. Now here, we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, here the lila, we've been discussing, this is the theme, this Vidya lila. Vidya lila. He comes, he appears, actually, has a purpose. Kali Juge, Juga Dharma, Name, Procha, Toti Lagi, Pita Barna, Chaitanya Avatar. Chaitanya Avatar. Toti Lage, for the purpose of, for what reason? The Pita Barna, he appears in a golden color. Toti Lagi, Pita Barna, Chaitanya Avatar. He appears for what purpose? Kali Juge, Juga Dharma, Name, Procha. To actually, to propagate the holy name of the Lord, to spread that, to establish the Juga Dharma. He's actually, although he's Swayam Bhagavan, but he's actually in the category of Juga Avatar. who propagates the dharma for the age, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He appears for that reason. But here he's not. He's performing the scholarly pastimes. He's wandering around Navadip with his associates. Proti Nogare Nogare, Shishya gone live. He's enjoying the Vidya Lila. And he's such a scholar where we heard that they don't think he's God. They're not aware that he's God. They don't know who he is. But Sarva Navadipe, Sarva Lok Hoilo Doni, Nimoy Pandit, Addapak Shiromani. All through Navadip, because these people, they're not ordinary conditioned souls. If you appeared in Navadip Dham, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is here, wandering from village to village, from gram to gram, Nogare, he's performing Shankirtan. And they will see now he's performing Vidya Lila. But to see this is not an ordinary, not by chance. These people that are living in Navadip or appeared in Navadip, they're special. They're special. Some of them have been practicing sadhana for many, many lives, and now they've appeared in their last life, last birth. They appeared in the place where the Lord has appeared and is performing his pastimes to complete the preparation for entering the eternal realm. So many souls are like that in the Lord's present in the Lord's pastimes. When he's the last birth, actually, this described in Brihad Bhagavatamrita by Srila Sanatana Goswami Prabhupada, when Krishna says that Chakvadeya Puna Janmanai Dimamite Ma'amam Arjuna Janma Karma Time Dibyam Evam Jovita Tatvata. 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Janma Karma Time Dibbam Evam Joveti Tattata. Those who Joveti Tattata, those who understand my Janma Karma Time Dibyam, that my birth and appearance and activities are transcendental. Joveti Tattata, Joveti, those who understand that, Chakvadeha, when they give up the body, Chakvadeha, Puna Janmanayati, they don't take birth again, Maameti, so Arjuna, they attain to me. Generally, we discuss like that, practice Krishna consciousness, and then at the last moment, you remember Krishna, you go back to Godhead. Well, actually, Sanatana Goswami says that the perfect sadhaka, the perfect devotee, he doesn't directly go back to Godhead. He says that he appears, he takes another birth, where the Lord is performing his pastimes in the material world. Where the Lord is performing his pastimes, he takes birth there and he sees, and he's like, you take birth in Navadip, and you're whatever you might be. You might be a Brahmin, you might be a Vaishnava, you might be a devotee, you'll be a devotee at that stage. So those people are there, those perfected beings that are just before they're just finalizing their preparation to enter the eternal realm. So many of those souls have appeared here in Navadip at the time of Nimai's appearance. And also his Nitya Siddha, Nitya Parashad, the perfected beings who came from the spiritual world. The many, many conditioned souls who've just come to their state of perfection, they appear in the place where the Lord is performing his pastimes. Along with them, the Siddha Purush, the Mukta Purush, the Nitya Parashad, the eternal associates of the Lord who have come from the spiritual world. They've come to the material world. They've appeared here in order to associate with the Lord. So therefore, the place of appearance of a Vaishnava is worshipped. Jai Deshe, Jai Kule, Vaishnav Avatare, Tar Prabhabe, Loka Yojan Nishtare. Vrindavan Das Thakur, in another place, he says that where a Vaishnava appears, Jai Deshe, in any land, Jai Deshe, Jai Kule, in any family, Vaishnav Avatare, where a Vaishnava appears, Tar Prabhabe, his power is such that Loka Yojan Nishtare. Loka Yojan? Yojan is 800 miles. Loka Yojan means 10,800,000 miles. That's a long 10 million all around the area where a Vaishnava appears. Nishtar means is delivered, it's purified, just because of the appearance of that Vaishnava. So many of the eternal associates of the Lord, the eternal associates from they're appearing with him. They're going along with him when he appears. They accompany him when he appears. They're the Antaranga Bhaktagan. They accompany him. A big man never travels alone. Even the previous president of the United States, Barack Obama, he visited India. Barack Obama, he visited India. And 1,500 people, 1,500, that was just the staff. 1,500. Just the staff who came just to arrange everything, his laundry, his meals, his security, his all that, the room, all that, cleaning, all that. 1,500 people accompany him wherever he goes. He has his own airplane, of course, but there's some other, there's the cabinet and the internal, the special associates, but then there's others. Yeah, wow. Yeah. So what to speak of the Supreme Lord? He doesn't just appear on his own, he brings the whole spiritual world with him. Brajendra Nandana Jai Shachishuta Hoilo Shay. Brajendra Nandan, a darling son of the king of Braj, Brajendra Nandan Jai Shachishuta Hoilo. He's appeared in the house of Sachimata. Balarama Hoilo Nitai, not Balaram. He's Nityananda Prabhu. So all of those Brajavasis that we hear, those eternal, and they appear here in Navadip. So they're all here. And then there's perfected beings. There's the Mukta Purush, Siddha Purush, Nitya Parashad, who are associating with the Lord, who come with the Lord from the spiritual world. And then there's the perfected sadhakas who have just perfected their spiritual life, and now they're just preparing to go back to God. They're also appearing here in Navadip. Just imagine. So just imagine the environment in Navadip. That's why the place is worshipable, because such events happened here. The Lord appeared here. He could appear anyway. He appears here, just a few meters from where I'm sitting right now. Jogpit. The Lord appeared here. Chintamani Rupai a Golmandal, Chit Anandamoidam, Chinmoy Shakal. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that not just Navadip, but all Golmandal is purified. Chintamani Rup is desired fulfilling. Chintamani Rupai a Golmandal, Chit Anandamoy Tam, Shakal, Chinmoy Shakal. It's all spiritual. Jal Bhumi Brika Adi, Shakal Chinmoy. Achincha Shakti Karja Prapanchika Noy. Jal Bhumi Brika Adi, Shakal Chinmoy. Jal, the water. Bhumi, the land. Brika, the trees. Jal Bhumi Brika Adi, Shakal Chinmoy. Achincha Shakti Karja. It's made of spiritual energy. Prapanchika Noy. It's not material energy. Holy down. So just by coming here and residing here, spending time here, visiting here, Navadip Bromite, Jai Pode Pode Pai, Koti Ashvameda Paul, Sharvashastra Gai. Navadip Bromite, just by walking around Navadip. It doesn't even say chanting or even thinking about Krishna or in doing Seva, just by walking. Navadip Bromite, just by walking around Navadip. Navadip Bromite, Jai Pode Pode Pai. What you get with every step. Koti Ashvameda Paul, Sharvashastra Gai. Koti Ashvameda Paul, the fruit of having performed Koti Ashvameda Jagya. Ashvamedha Jagya, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he performed 3. Yudhishthira Maharaj, he performed 3 Ashvamedha. How difficult is that? The king, the emperor of the world, he could only do 3. That's how complex it is. That's how much organization, how much wealth is required to perform the Ashvamedha Jagya. It's a horse sacrifice. It's not even allowed in the Kali Yuga. It's forbidden. Forbidden horse sacrifice. It's forbidden in Kali Yuga. Because we don't, when no one can perform. But you just come to Navadip and you wander, walk around Navadip. Navadip Bromite, Jai Pode Pode Pai, Koti Ashvamedha Paul. 10 million Ashvamedha Yagyas with every step. Just amazing. What a place. What a place. So when Navadip Chandra, Vijamani, Nimai, he came here, he's performing the Vidya Lila, it's transcendental enjoyment, just like Krishna in Vrindavan, he's going and he's herding the cows, he's a Gopal, Gobalok, he's a cowherd boy. That seems like an ordinary activity. Cowherd boy, in itself not inherently spiritual. It's an ordinary activity, looking after the cows. But that's what God does. That's what God does. So those activities, they're not ordinary. It is Nitya Lila. He's enjoying Braja Bihari. He's enjoying with the cows, with the calves, with the cows, with Gopal, Gopigan, with the cowherd boys, with the cowherd girls. This is how he enjoys. This is his prerogative. He's the Param Purushotam. Param Purushotam. He's the supreme enjoyer. So he enjoys in this way. And just by hearing the descriptions of his Braja Lila, of his pastimes, then our dominant relationship with him is revived. So similarly, When he appears in Navadip Dham, he enjoys the Vidya Lila. He enjoys the pastimes of being a scholar. And that's the environment here. Chotutik hoite log Navadip ejai Navadip poile she Vidya Raj. Because the environment was so charged. We've discussed previously that even the materialistic people, they would ridicule the Vaishnavas with poetry. They write poetry, ridiculing the common materialistic people, the rejects. That's how elevated they were. What to speak of the Paramhamsa Vaishnava gone residing in Navadip. And the ordinary people. Sarva Navadipe Sharva Lo Koilo Dhoni Nivaim Pandidache Odda Pakshi Romani. Just understand this. They don't know he's God. They're just in love with him. Sarva Navadipe Sharva Lo Koilo Dhoni Nivai Pandidache Odda Pakshi Romani. Oh, all through Navadip, all you could hear is the people, they're just glorifying Nimai Pandit. He's the Krish jewel of all the scholars. And in this environment, Nimai, he's performing the household pastimes as a household with Loki Devi and Sachimata. Jagannath Mishra has departed. Jagannath Mishra, Nimai's father, he never saw the marriage. He never saw his son's marriage. He never saw either son's marriage. Vishwarup took sannyas, and then Jagannath Mishra, he left the world. And so Sachimata was at home only with Nimai. We chant Jai Shachi Nandan, Jai Shachi Nandan, Jai Shachi Nandan, Gaudhari, Jai Shachi Nandan. We chant Jai Shachi Nandan. So how dear is Nimai to Sachimata, Vishwamba? How dear he is. Sachimata has nothing else. Her whole life is Nimai. She's a widowed mother. She only one son. Shachi Nandan, Jai Shachi Nandan. So he's here in Navadip with Sachimata, and she actually arranges she begins to consider it's time for the marriage, and she arranges the marriage. At some later date, we'll discuss that in complete detail. That is very wonderful. She meets the Gatok, Vanamali. They're discussing the candidates of Loki Priya and everything. It's amazing. We'll discuss that pastime in full on a later occasion. So now he's already married. And Vrindavan Das Thakur is describing these pastimes as a young household. He's 16 or 17 years old. Loki Devi is 11. And they're in the house of Sachimata, Sachiyongane, and he's performing his pastimes. But everyone in Navadip is in love with him. He's the center of attention. Everyone is always thinking about him because they just understand who these people are. They're not ordinary. There's many eternal liberated souls who came from the spiritual world and appeared here. And then there's many beings who've just become perfect and never appeared here. And then there's others, and then there's people here also who just happen to, by good fortune, just happen to take birth here. There's also that category. They get special mercy. What would you call them? They're like bystanders. Bystanders. You know, in the movies, in the movies, you have your hero and heroine. They're there, a few key characters, and sometimes they're in the street. And then there's so many people walking here and there. Actually, they're actors. They're actors. They're paid. It's all made to scene. They're like walking up and down in the background in the street. So like that, the place is full of people. Full of Navadip. There's normal people as well that just happen to great fortune that you could take birth. Of course, they're all delivered. They're all delivered just by appearing. Even now, the Brajavasis, even now you take birth in Mayapur, then it's your last birth. Even the normal people. So just try to understand the environment. Therefore, we come as often as possible to the Holy Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Mayapur Dham, Jagannath Puri Dham, particularly the most important places of pilgrimage for ISKCON devotees, Mayapur, Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri. So there's all of a sudden Mahaprabhu on the street, he meets 20 sannyasis. 20 sannyasis. Well, that in itself, how often do you see 20 sannyasis? I mean, even here in our festival here, from all around, you may not get 20 sannyasis to come for Mayapur, the festival, annual festival. We may not even get 20. 20 sannyasis. Who were those sannyasis? Well, we'll tell you who they were. 20 sannyasis. And then Nimai, he sees them. Just I'm saying, that's extraordinary. Maybe you see one or two you see two sannyasis together. That's special. 5 sannyasis. Oh, a festival time here in ISKCON, maybe 10, 15, but 20. And this is an ordinary time. And they were all together. Isn't it extraordinary? And Nimai invited them. So many questions here. Look at this. So many comments in this. Yes, yes, yes. Wow, Gold Huddy. Who were the sannyasis? 20, yes. Well, we'll tell you that shortly. Yeah, just amazing. 20 cents. Imagine where you live in different cities. You're from Trivandrum, you're from Bangalore, you're from Delhi, from Chennai, you're from Mangalore. How often when you see 20 sannyasis at one place together, just in your town? Such a rare thing. But here in Navadip, such things can happen. So actually who they were, they actually appeared in Navadip and they assumed the form of who they were. We'll answer. Well, who they were. This is a whole extraordinary. Why he's in the Vidalila. To fulfill the desire of Brahma, Shiv, Shuk, Vyas, Narad, Adi, Kori. This is text number. Text is it says 31. No, 30. Yeah, 31. Brahma, Shiv, Shuk, Vyas, Narad, Adi, Kori, Shurshita, Adi, Jota, Shachanda Bihari. Those who could go wherever they want according to their desire. They're Swachanda Bihari. Shuri, the demigod, Shita, the perfected beings, Brahma, Lord Shiva, Shukdev Goswami, Narad Muni. That's who they were. So they hearing Loki Narayan Avarturna Navadipe, hearing Jani Shabe Aishe Bika Kore Rupe. So they heard that Loki Narayan Avarturna Navadipe. Jani, they heard that Shabai, Aishen, Bikare Rupe in the form of a mendicant. In the form of a mendicant. They all appeared in the form of a mendicant. In the form of mendicants. Just to be able to accept alms and take a meal in the house of Nimai Pandit from Loki Narayan. So when they heard, when he sends a message, he sends the Mahaprabhu, he sends the message to Sachimata that I've invited 20 sannyasis. This is extraordinary. Sachimata, she's in anxiety. She becomes filled with anxiety. Filled with anxiety. This is text number 16. Gore kichunai. I chinte mone. Kurishanashi brika hoibe kamone. Gore kichunai. Yeah, just please give me 1 minute. Someone is just at the door, so. Yeah. So Sachimata, she's in anxiety. That's amazing. Gore kichune, I chinte mone, kuri shannashi bika bekamone. She's in anxiety. How are we going? There's no gore kichune. There's no supplies in the kitchen. And he's invited 20 sannyasis and they're coming. Oh, gore kichune, I chinte mone. She's thinking again and again, nothing. How are we going to? Kuri sannyasi bika hoibe kamone. How we will feed 20 sannyasis in this state of complete anxiety? She doesn't notice that someone has come and brought all the ingredients required for cooking and placed them in the kitchen. Now, she's not thinking that, well, in my previous birth, I was Majasoda, although she is. In my previous birth, I was Majasoda, and my son, Nimai, he's God. So he can invite people. He will arrange everything. She doesn't think that. She doesn't know why she's in anxiety. He's God. Her son is God. Why should she be in anxiety? He can just manifest a whole feast just by desiring. But she doesn't think that. She doesn't think he's God. Just try to understand Braja Prem. Kevo Shuddha Prem Aishajya Na Jane Aishajya Deklayo Niju Shambandha Shaimane. This is the special feature of Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, the devotees, they don't think Krishna is God. Gokule Kevo Rati Aishajya Gyan Hain Puri. What is it? Puri Dware Vaikuntade Aishajya Prabhin. Mahaprabhu is explaining that Gokule Kevo Rati Aishajya Gyan Hain. In Gokul, in Vrindavan, they don't think that Krishna is God. They don't know that Aishajya Gyan Hain. They are devoid of the understanding that Krishna is God. Puri Dware Vaikuntade Aishajya Pravin. However, in the other places, Puri Dware, there's two Puris. Puri Dware means Mathura Puri and Ayodhya Puri, where Krishna also performed pastimes. Aishajya Gyan Pravin. There, Aishajya Gyan Pravin, they understand that he's God. Just like in Mathura, Puri Dware, Mathura and Ayodhya. Dwarka, sorry. Puri Dware means Mathura and Dwarka. So in Mathura, Krishna, he showed his forearm form upon appearing in front of Vasudeva and Devaki. And they could understand he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, that's Aishajya Gyan Pravin. And in Dwarka, also the queens and all of the Dwarkavasis, the Yadus, the Pandavas, Kunti Maharani, they all understand that Krishna is God. Just like Arjuna, he understands Krishna is God. In Gita, he says, Param Brahma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Shashvatam, Divyam, Adi Devam, Ajam Vibhum. You are Adi Devam, you are the original God. You are Ajam, you are unborn. Vibhum, you are the greatest. Param Brahma, you are the supreme absolute Brahman. Arjuna is saying. Arjuna understands. But in Vrindavan, Majasoda, she doesn't think that Krishna is God. Majasoda, Nanda Baba, she doesn't think Krishna is God. Gokule Kevo Rati Aishajya Gyan Hain, Puri Dware, Vaikuntha Adde Aishajya Pravin. And in Vaikuntha planets, where the Vaikuntha, Lord Narayan, they all understand he's God. But in Vrindavan, it's called Kevo Rati. It's called Kevo Rati. Kevo Shuddha Prem Aishajya Na Jane. Kevo Shuddha Prem Aishajya Jane. Nija Shambandha Aishajya Deklayo, Nija Shambandha Shemani, Aishajya Deklayo, Nija Shambandha Shemani. Even he displays opulence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like Gopal, he sits on the lap of Majasoda. He shows the Virat Rupa in his mouth. Momentarily, she's somewhat stunned, but she doesn't think, oh, he's God. In fact, she never even tells anybody about it. She's not particularly impressed. Aishajya Deklayo, even he displays his godliness. Nija Shambandha Shemane. Nija Shambandha, no, I'm his mother. He's my child. That's such a powerful meditation. That's such a powerful consciousness. They're in such deep love. In the Vatsalya Rosh. There's such deep love that even such an awe-inspiring revelation doesn't affect them. It doesn't impress them. They're so much absorbed in no, he's my child. He's my baby, my child. Even in a dream, a Brahmin appears before Jagannath Mishra and says that you shouldn't instruct your son. You shouldn't correct him. It's not appropriate. He's the Jnana Samudra. He's the ocean of mercy, ocean of knowledge. He's the Supreme Lord Narayan. Mishra Kohe, and Mishra replies in that dream, Mishra Kore, Devshiti Munikani Noi, Jay Shaboro Hok Matra Amatanoi. In the dream, he says that, yes, he replies, Dev Shiti Munikani Noi, yes. Jagannath Mishra has a dream. One time a Brahmin appears to him in a dream, Jagannath Mishra. And he says, you shouldn't correct Nimai. He's God. And Mishra Kahe, he replies in the dream, Deb Shiti Muni Keninoi. Yes, he might be God. He may be a perfect being. He may be a great Muni. Deb Shiti Muni Keninoi. Jeshe Boro Hok, no matter what he is, who he is, Matro Amar Tanoi, as far as I'm concerned, he's my son, and I have to give him instruction. So this is that they're completely absorbed in this in a relationship. Nimai is a scholar. Nimai is my son. Nimai's invited these sannyasis. And who were these sannyasis? They were Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Narad Muni, Shukdev Goswami, various perfected beings and Suryas, demigods. They all appeared in the form of mendicants. They assumed the form of mendicants in order to be received by Lakshmi Narayan, who had appeared in Navadip, and to accept alms from them. So we were planning on discussing about Lakshya Charitra, the qualities of Lakshmi Devi, but we didn't quite get to it today. So we'll keep that for another day, for next week. Next week we'll have class, yes. So there's a few things in the chat we can take a look at. Sachimata knew it. She knew what? In which Mishra dream? Sachimata knew. Where the demigod for darshan of God? Where are they? Where are they? Well, they assumed the form of mendicants. They assumed the form of mendicants. We've heard this on many occasions. Here they're assuming the mendicants, sannyasis, the Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Narad Muni, Shukdev Goswami, various Siddha Purushas. They assume the form of mendicants, and they're wandering around Navadip, and they're invited by Nimai to take prasadam in his home. And on another occasion, when Nimai was younger, he was a young boy, he'd just taken the Jagya Pavitra, he just received the sacred thread from Jagannath Misra, and he was begging. And at that time also Parvati and Mahaparvati and Devahuti and other wives of the great Munis and Rishis, Saraswati, they assumed the form of household ladies in Navadip in order to be able to offer alms to Nimai when he was a young brahmachari, having just received the Gayatri Diksha, Jagya Upavitra, and then he was begging from door to door. So that time, Saraswati, Parvati, Devahuti, other wives of the great rishis, they assumed the form of brahminis, of household ladies in Navadip, in order to offer alms to Nimai. And here we hear that Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Narad Muni, and other great perfected beings, they assumed the form. Today is also the, well, any questions? Today we'll come to Lakshmi Charitra. That's text number 39 of chapter 40. We'll be discussing that next week. So any questions on what we discussed today? Hema?
Hare Krishna, Hema Mataji. Can you unmute?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. You told about 20 sannyasis visit to the Sachi Mata house to take the food. Is it said that the demigods requested the God Hari?
I can't hear. I'm sorry. You have
Can
to.
you be louder? Mataji, please be louder.
Okay. Now I'm audible, Prabhuji?
Reasonably, even louder would be better.
More louder?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it that the demigod, now I'm audible, Prabhuji?
No, reasonably. Carry on.
Maybe mobile problem. So is it the demigods requested God Hari to visit the east of Bengal for spread of Hari Nam?
No, we'll discuss that next week. We'll get to that next week after we talk about the qualities of Lakshmi. This is Mahaprabhu's desire.
Okay.
Icha Bhagawan, he says he has his own desire. No one mentioned it. No one here. He has his own desire. He goes to East Bengal. And we'll discuss more on that next week.
And Prabhuji, how long Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in the east of Bengal? This was not being mentioned.
A few months. No, we haven't yet. We'll discuss that in the next few weeks. Yeah, he goes for a few months.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Very good.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, a devotee new to the Bhakti Marg in this present world, present environment, what he has to do and not to do? Because scripture is okay, different, but the present world is so hectic and so heavy and cruel, and what he has to do and not to do, especially not to do.
Well, what to do is Hare Krishna bolo shonge cholo, eimatro bikachai. Eimatro, only this. Eimatro. Mahaprabhu is requesting. Eimatro bikachai. I'm requesting this of you. Hare Krishna bolo shonge cholo. That you have to chant Hare Krishna. So you mentioned a new devotee. So I mean, we're all new. We're all new. So it's pretty much the same for everybody, new or old. Same thing. We have to chant Hare Krishna. And then the other things, if you can take prasadam, okay, wonderful. If you can take prasadam occasionally, that's glorious. If you can only take prasadam, you said what not to do. Well, don't take food that's not offered to Krishna. Don't take food that's not offered to Krishna. If you can manage that, that's probably possible. I mean, you decide what you put in your mouth. No one else decides that. So you do what not to do is don't take things which are not offered to Krishna. And what to do is to chant Hare Krishna. Atashi Krishna namadi na bhavet grahaminde. Swayam, was that Seva onmukhi hi jivado, Swayam evaspirat, Seva onmukhi hi jivado. So in the beginning of Krishna Seva is the beginning with the tongue. Seva onmukhi hi jivado, ado, in the beginning, the tongue. And how you do that, you vibrate the name of Krishna with the tongue and you taste Krishna prasadam. So what not to do, don't take food that's not offered to Krishna. And then whatever other of the principles you can follow, then you follow. And you make advancement. But primarily it's based upon, your advancement will be generated, will be supported, will be produced by chanting Hare Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna seriously. So in the kirtan, you chant Hare Krishna in the kirtan, or if you have the mala, japa mala, you chant on the japa mala. That's what you should do in the beginning. And always, after that, don't stop. It's not that you do in the beginning and then you stop. No, you do in the beginning and you keep that practice for your whole, as Krishna explains that, shushukam karutam abhyayam. It's very enjoyable. Kartam abhyayam is performed eternally. So you begin, whatever you begin now, you don't stop. It's not that you just do a few things in the beginning and then you stop. So you begin now, those things you begin doing now, you carry on for the rest of your existence, forever. So just think of it like that. It's whatever I begin to do now, I'll keep doing it and do as much as you can.
Hare Krishna, Manushi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. I just wanted to raise a couple of points. One is that when Lord Krishna was born in Mathura and then lived in Gokul, then also Lord Shiva and Parvati assumed the form of mendicants, came to see him, because Lord Shiva was so fascinated with the idea of seeing baby Krishna. And despite Mother Yashoda's reservations, somehow the Lord manifested in such a way that they got a darshan of him in that divine form. And the second is that this is more a question, Prabhuji, that when Lord Brahma, for instance, he wanted to test whether Krishna is really the Lord, then he made the cows and the children all disappear. And then he was, of course, his own consciousness was improved, and he realized that the Lord is everywhere, and therefore he again he reaffirmed his faith in the Lord. Now, or when Indra in his ego tried to rein out the people, the Bashindas of Gokul. Prabhuji, is that also actually a way of their darshan of Lord Krishna and his avatar? Because of course they can always see everything, but to really experience the divine quality of a child manifestation of the Lord, the pleasure of that, is that also something that motivated them to undertake these acts of what would appear to be aggression, but actually led to full submission? That's my question, Prabhuji.
I didn't quite follow everything in the video. Who's got the aggression? Who's got aggression?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, the question is like, it's Krishna doing all these pastimes of Govardhan Leela and Brahma Vimohan Leela. Is that a way of giving darshan to his devotees and demigods? So, as a child form of the Lord.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, you see these pastimes that are there, particularly in Gaudhari and in Bangshidhari, in Gokul, there's a birth, the Janma Leela. The Janma, I mean, other avatars they don't have Janma Leela. Nrsimhadev Janma, they don't have. There's a Varaha avatar, they just appear. Leela avatars, they just appear and perform the Leela and go. But Krishna has a Janma Leela, he has appearance, he's in the womb. And he has birth, and astrologers come, and people are coming and giving gifts. And he's a baby. And he's growing up, and he's learning everything. He's learning, the residents of Navadip are all astounded. In 3 days, he learned all the Bengali letters, 370. Conjuncts also. So he grows up. He's learning how to speak ga, ka, ga, ga. Is it learning and crawling around to see the Supreme Lord like that? Of course, Lord Shiva would come in whatever form. To see the Supreme Lord like that, such extraordinary Leela. He's like a baby. He's growing up, learning things, going to school, pastimes, crying, this and that. Give me this, give me that, give me the bird. He sees the bird in the sky, he's crying, give me this, give me that. And the only thing that could stop him crying was when they perform Harinam, Sankirtan. So the demigods, they come to see these pastimes, sure.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you Prabhu. Prabhu, you said about the Panchaga Bhakti, where Rupa Goswami says about associating with devotees and chanting the holy name, hearing Bhagavatam, and deity worship. So that's all done by all Grihasthas. But what about Madhuravas, Prabhu? So what is the real meaning of that Madhuravas, which we cannot do?
Real meaning is what it is. It's to live in the Dham. So not everyone can do, but you don't have to do all 5 items. So if you can't live in the Dham, then you do the others. You do Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavat Sarvan, and deity worship. You do that. If you can, and then you visit the Holy Dham. The temple also, Prabhupada described as embassy of the Holy Dham. So visit the temple, but also visit the Holy Dham. Prabhupada, his schedule was that he would invite all the international devotees from all over the world. He would invite them to the Holy Dham. That was the Mayapur Vrindavan festival. They come to Mayapur and then go to Vrindavan, and every year. And even the devotees discussed with Prabhupada, they said that, Prabhupada, if all the devotees didn't come every year to Mayapur and Vrindavan, we'd save so much money and we'd be able to build more temples if they didn't come. And Prabhupada, his response was, yeah, if they didn't eat also, we'd save a lot of money. They didn't eat, they'd save a lot. So you should come. That's the idea. When you get a chance to go to the Holy Dham, go to the Holy Dham. To tell you, you can spend more time in Mayapur because actually it's Sri Chaitanya Avatar Boro Bilokon Aparad Shatteo Jiv Labe Prem Don. There's a special characteristic in Mayapur that offenses are not considered. Offenses are not considered, so you can stay longer. Even an offensive person, that's what the Thakur Bhaktivinoda is saying. That's why we're expanding in Mayapur. It's the Dham for the Kali Yuga because offenses are not considered. Sri Chaitanya Avatar Boro Bilokam, the special characteristic of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's avatar, Aparad Shatte Jiv Labe Prem Dan. Even the offenders get love of God. Even the offenders, Aparad Shatte Jiv Labe Prem Dan. So that's Mayapur. But in Vrindavan, on the Tirtha Aparadi Dandir Bhajan, Navadip Aparadi Sharai Marjan, in the other Tirthas, the offenders are punished. But in Navadip, they're forgiven. So Navadip is special. So you should spend time in Navadip, Mayapur. And you visit the Dhams. Now, if you're fortunate enough to spend a lot of time, then that's wonderful. It's such an opportunity. You take it. You do Seva. If you've got Seva in the Holy Dham, you come and study in the Holy Dham. That's also the best Seva. So you do that. You should do that. It's important. It's very powerful. Panchanga Bhakti, you perform, you live in the holy Dham and perform Bhagavad Bhakti. This is Rupa Goswami's teachings. This is what we should do as much as possible. And if you're a working person, then you come on holiday, you come in the holy Dham. And if you're a retired person, you come and live in the holy Dham. And if you're about to finish your time on this body, then you come and you give up your body in the holy Dham. This we should do.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Suryakant, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji. A little bit of explanation based upon the query of Mataji about the Brahma Lila itself. Because the Lord, reason of this Brahma Lila, for the part of the desires of the gopis to treat Lord Krishna as their son itself. And the desire of the cows also to feed Lord Krishna also over there. So that is the reason, one of the reasons why the Brahma Lila was done. So that Lord Krishna wanted to fulfill the desires of the gopis, the mothers of Braja, who is to see Mother Yashoda serving and playing the role of a parental role, the Vatshalya Rasa, with Lord Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. See you next week.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna
Thank
Mataji.
you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Jama.